Good morning. So this is kind of a story about our frugal practices, how we prep pork, one of our main proteins, how we buy and how I prep and package and vacuum seal and all that fun stuff. So today I came downstairs and Shondale already had this made. That is what she makes is an English muffin bread, and it's unbelievable. It's basically English muffin dough in a loaf form, and we eat them about every week. Excuse me. They're very resilient and they stay fresh forever. And Shondale makes them and gives them out to our family and friends, and they love it. And it's an amazing product. So she's always got at least a loaf or two lying around for us, so we can make toast in the morning with a couple of eggs, or toast with peanut butter or flaxseed butter or whatever, a little bit of honey, that kind of thing. Anyway, so what we're going to do is I'm going to jump into a video where I show the prep on pork loin. And Shondale and I are part of our channel is called the Frugal Foodies, right? So do me a favor and subscribe and like. So part of being frugal is buying correctly and prepping correctly, so you don't have a lot of cost to maintain a good diet. So we buy a lot of frozen veg, a lot of canned veg. We mix in fresh veg. We grow a garden. Our parents grow a garden. And through the year, we subsidize buying groceries by growing groceries. And the other part of that is not going out to eat a whole lot. We cook dinner pretty much.
Okay, so this is where I take the pork loin out of the package it came in from Costco. I'm trimming the top of it. It's actually been draining that sink for a little while to get all the juice off of it. And now I'm pulling the bag off of it, and I'm going to dry it off on this paper towel that's on top of the cutting boards there. So I've got to speed it up photography a little bit there so we can show you. Just wash my hands and grab more paper towels to dry this booger off. And here we should be done with that here shortly, so we can flip that thing over and start cutting, which will come up in the next few seconds. Here we go. So this is the pork loin. And it's got a nice fat cap on it. There's silver skin here, but it's pretty thin. You can trim it off if you want to. I can show you how to do that. I'll trim off a piece of it. So the idea is to have a sharp knife and just kind of dig best you can close to the surface there on the silver skin. Just to get a little tab so you can grab it, pull it, and then push your knife at an angle up, just like that. See that? That's just pretty good. It's a pretty good pull on that silver skin. We can do another one. I usually don't do this because it's more prep, and honestly, if you're gonna do a roast or what have you, it's nice to have a little bit of fat on there. So I did cut some roast earlier off the other pork tenderloin. There's a nice little strip running all the way down. Now, if you want to keep going, I mean, you can. What this will do too, if you're grilling pork chops or sauteing them, is it'll keep it from having the sides round up on you. So it acts like a rubber band a little bit, the silver skin does. So you want to take that off, it will help you with that, but we turn our proteins enough on the grill, we don't experience that. And you can also cut, just cut a little piece of that silver skin while you're grilling, and it'll allow that to release so you don't have to worry about it curling. Honestly, this silver skin is a lot easier than beef. Beef tends to be pretty stringy and tough, where pork just isn't. Tends to melt away. There's enough good fat in pork where you don't have to worry about that, really. Unless it's a giant piece of silver skin or fat cap or whatever you want to call it. Cool. And I'll take this one off the end. This is pretty good fat right here. Well, it is good fat. It's nice and soft. So you probably just melt in the pan, but let's go ahead and take that off too to give you a cleaner look. And then this is kind of loose down here, so might as well take that off, that little rib piece, and another little piece here we can get to and pull it down as well. So that's about, I mean, if we're weighing, that's about 8 ounces. Okay, so that's pretty cleaned up little pork loin. You can go further. I mean, you could be anal and pull that off. Why not? Again, this is, you need a sharp knife. Don't go mess around with an unsharp knife, ever. These are shun knives. These are stainless Damascus shun knives I've had for a long time. And, run a steel through them, get a nice edge before you go using them. It's always a good idea. Okay, so if you want to take a look at the back side, that's what it looks like on the bottom side. There's a little piece here, this really nice marbled piece here has a ton of flavor in it. You can actually cut that off and separate it and just cook that. Use that for taco meat or Chinese food or whatever. That really, really good stuff. So, but I'm not doing that with this one. We're gonna cut all pork chops because I already cut my, I might say this bottom piece back here for Chinese food, you know, just cut up into pieces, but we're gonna go ahead and do pork chops. So what I'm gonna do is make this even by cutting a little piece off. It's kind of gonna get weird cooked anyway, so there's that. And let's start here. I'm gonna go about 6 ounces. About 6, and these are beautiful, what they call the center cut. They say that because it's right in the center of the tenderloin and you're not getting any of this other rib meat down in there. They're just beautiful pieces of meat. I mean, it's super low fat, really flavorful, good for you, easy to work with. You can do so many different things with this pork. We do. I mean, it's from pork piccata to pork stir fry to grilling pork chops with sauerkraut, pork chops with pasta. You know, I do Italian pork chops with breadcrumbs. I've done Japanese pork chops, you know, I butterfly them out and use panko. Gosh, you name it. I've made the pork chops. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and then 17. There's 18, so 18 divided by 3 is 5 meals. So if we're counting, that's 5 meals right there for 3 of us without even talking about this. And it cost me $18 to buy this. So 5 meals, $18, it's $3 a meal, is that right? So yeah, it's pretty good. All right, so we're gonna cut these thinner. So these will be for scallopini or piccata or something like that. That one I can actually, it's a little awkward. I don't know if I can kind of butterfly him out a little bit. Yeah, that works. Okay, that'll be the same thickness as those. We'll go back to this. Very economical way of shopping and prepping. It keeps our nut low at the house here, and it's as good a meal as you can make out. Of course, I'm an old cook, or chef, so I know a couple things about what they do in restaurants to get by and those recipes, so I can make a meal at home taste like a meal at a restaurant pretty quickly. And there's gotta thank my parents and all the cooks in my life that taught me these skills and brought me to this point so I can feed my family affordably. I really do appreciate it. Okay. There is 9 pounds of pork prepped. And I will put all that in here. So what we'll do is something like this. Just kind of nestle them in there. Chops, and then gather this up, put it right on top. Here's a little Zocris chef's knife I've got. Okay, so back to the pork. There's the pork I prepped yesterday. This is what came out of the freezer just now. These are the roasts I was telling you about. And then these are the thick cut pork chops, and these are all thin cut for like Chinese stir fry. So I froze all that in our lay down freezer. We're getting ready to vacuum pack it in that, label it, and put it in the freezer, and then rotate that pork, which isn't frozen yet, back over onto this and freeze it. So that'll give us 2 pork loins prepped and in the freezer, ready to be used whenever we need them. All right, there you go. I'll catch back here in a minute and we have everything backpacked. What are you doing? Yeah, no. Cold, huh? Okay, so this is the kind of the end of the first process. This is all the frozen stuff backpacked. It came off the sheet. Pork stir fry, this is about 2.5 pounds. There's some thick pork chops, some more thick pork chops, and then 2 pork roast loins. And those are about, I'm gonna say 10 to 12 ounce, and that's about 12 to 14 ounce. Anyway, so those are the prepped ones. These are getting ready to go into the freezer. And I've got some thin stuff up here, and then these are just individual pork chops that'll get frozen, and we'll backpack them in that. Anyhow, there it is. There's kind of the finish portion of our pork loin prep and where we go from there. I'll bag those up in the next day or so when they're nice and frozen. And backpack what I need and throw in Ziplocs what I don't, and for immediate gratification. There's our Saturday prep. There's Finnegan, clean as paw. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. If you got any comments, please comment below. Any questions you've got, hit me up down below and I'll do my best to answer them. And I'll be doing more prep stuff to show you how to live frugally with really good food. So this is, again, this was $2 a pound, and that you figure that's $1 a portion for each person that eats 8 ounces worth of this pork. So super cheap, and one of those things anybody can do. I hope this taught you something, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.